Alright guys, welcome in. I'm the Kodiak, and today we're here to talk about another Senior Bowl standout in Georgia wide receiver Ladd McConkey. McConkey initially started as a 3-star coming out of North Murray in Chatsworth, Georgia, and to make these videos, I go everywhere to find out info on these players. I go to fan forums, I go to Reddit, I go to Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, because I very heavily weigh the opinions of fans who follow the team in evaluating these kind of guys, because they know more than any quick Wikipedia search will ever tell me. And one thing I learned is that Ladd actually grew up as a Tennessee fan and badly wanted to be a volunteer. He used Georgia's offer as leverage and then spent the next weekend in Knoxville trying to secure an offer, but left empty-handed. And one thing that was particularly funny about that is he was not given an offer by any D1 team until Kirby Smart went to one of his basketball games, and then he went to have pizza at the McConkey house, and that's where they offered him, and they ended up redshirting him. And he was initially redshirted and did not play his true freshman year, but I don't remember how many of these NFL eligible prospects actually got redshirted their freshman year, because when you have like A1 recruits and A1 blue chip draft prospects, and more specifically, those are guys who are like 4 or 5 stars. Now, the fact that a player like Ladd McConkey was redshirted at Georgia just speaks to how high the quality of that program is. But anyway, Ladd McConkey was a fan favorite at UGA, and he has been destroying the Senior Bowl. He won the Wuerffel Trophy this year, which is granted to someone who displays outstanding athletic and academic achievement. And whoever drafts him is going to be very happy with the player they get, especially because NFL teams, now than ever, more so, are preaching culture. NFL teams want great humans on and off the field. Long gone are the days of drafting Justin Blackman and Justin Gilbert, because when you get someone where the off-field personality doesn't really match the talent, they fall hard in the draft. Not to say guys with work ethic problems don't get taken high, but NFL teams, more than ever, just preach good character. The one thing I do want to point out is that Georgia's passing game is not an NFL academy. Like, yeah, you may think it just because they're in the SEC, and yeah, they've had Bowers, Pickens, and McConkey as of late, but it's not like they're churning out elite skill guys at an alarming rate, especially if you're being a premier program. Stetson Bennett didn't even play this year in the NFL, but I don't even need to see that he's not an NFL QB. But regardless, before I get into McConkey's prospect profile, the reason I'm talking about him now is because he is absolutely crushing the Senior Bowl. He has been cooking DBs in the one-on-ones. And I made a video about Javon Baker yesterday, and Ladd McConkey fits the mold of guys who simply could not be guarded. I'm going to make a video about Roman Wilson very shortly. I assume that's going to come out either later today or tomorrow. But when you watch McConkey in game film, he is so pristine as a route runner. It's unreal. This guy has so much Josh Downs to his game. He's very twitchy. He has elite yak ability, and how he processes the game is absolutely unreal. He looks like a running back when the ball is in his hands, and every time I feel like he has the ball in his hands, he's going to put a defender on ice skates. And I'm waiting for his combine measurements to come out, because this dude is measured in at 6 foot 185, but he plays bigger than that. And to me, he looks like he's at least 6'2". Maybe my eyes are just playing tricks on me, and I know that colleges usually tend to overestimate their guys' measurements rather than underestimate, but still. He had 2.6 career yards per outrun in Georgia and 3.2 yards per outrun versus zone. The elite wide receiver prospects who actually end up succeeding in the NFL usually have anything above the 2.5, so he definitely checks that box. And for one reason or another, I'm largely a believer in college production needing to be elite. But throughout my process and when I was evaluating the wide receivers last year, I think I weighed too heavily into it and was way too big on the idea of yards per team pass attempt, an area where McConkey honestly falls short. And Ladd McConkey's experience-adjusted production was relatively underwhelming. I'm trying to figure out why that is, but it's one of the things that made me hit on Mingo and completely whiff on Flowers. So I don't know, but either way, whoever drafts him will be very happy. And I see a lot of Josh Downs and Terry McLaurin in his game. So where do I see him fitting in NFL-wise? So my ideal team fits are 3 teams. I came up with them. They are all in the AFC. Jacksonville, Tennessee, and New York. But the one team in particular that sticks out to me as a great team fit for him is the Jets. They have no legitimate or viable offensive skill position weapons outside of Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. And I'm definitely not even remotely excited about a 41-year-old QB making his comeback from an Achilles injury, so I'm not going to pretend like I am. But there is always a chance that Rodgers can still elevate a below-average squad around him, similar to the way Stafford does. But Ladd McConkey, I'm a huge fan of him. And, guys who keep crushing the Senior Bowl, it's great to see a great human be able to bump their draft stock at the Senior Bowl, and it's just incredible. And I hope Ladd McConkey goes on to have a very successful NFL career. I'm not sure where he's going to get drafted. If I had to say, I would say probably mid to late third, because there are concerns about him. He may not truly have the athleticism or the size to truly pop off in the NFL as a receiver. But anyway, I'm a huge fan of his game, and I think he's going to make an NFL team very happy. All right, that does it for me. I will see you guys next time. Peace.